What's going on, everybody? We're back again with some more NFL game previews. Now this week we're going to bring back 4 to 5 games. Last week, as you saw in a lot of games, they were not very good or interesting games throughout the weekend, even going into Monday night. We had a couple blowouts. The Rams blowing out the Giants and the Eagles blowing out the Broncos. The two games that I highlighted were probably the two best games of the weekend. But this week we are back again with, it looks like, possibly 4. So we're going to go ahead and jump into it. Our first game that we're going to preview is the Falcons versus the Cowboys. This game is going to be played in the Georgia Dome. Not even the Georgia Dome anymore. My bad. Sorry about that, Falcon fans. But it's going to be played in Atlanta because I don't remember what your stadium is called. This game is going to be played at 1:30 Pacific time in Atlanta. The Cowboys are coming off a victory over the Chiefs, a huge victory for them to further push themselves into the NFC playoff race. Right now, they're in the 6th seed as the second wild card in the NFC. The Falcons, on the flip side, lost last week against the Panthers. I think it was 20-17. Once again, the same problems are still hurting this team with play calling, offensive play calling, not getting their weapons involved. And Julio Jones had a huge drop in a key moment in this game. So, let's go ahead and jump into our preview here. The Falcons are 4-4 entering this game. The Cowboys are 5-3. This is a huge NFC matchup for possible playoff implications later in the season. A win for either team gives them a tiebreaker advantage over them as a head-to-head matchup. So, let's go ahead and jump into it. Some of our key matchups to look for this weekend. Obviously, as of today, Tuesday, Ezekiel Elliott is playing. So that's a huge factor into what's going to happen this weekend. I believe they're going to make a ruling on Thursday or Friday on whether or not he'll play. I believe this will be the final ruling in his case. If not, we'll see. But yeah. So, as of Tuesday, Zeke is playing. So our key matchups to look for here are going to be, I believe as of right now, we don't know if Tyron Smith, the left tackle for the Dallas Cowboys, is going to play. So it's a huge advantage for the Falcons to address attacking Chaz Green. I think Chaz Green will get the start. So it's going to be that Dallas offensive line versus that Atlanta pass rush. Now, Atlanta's pass rush hasn't been as good as it was last year. I think that also comes into the fact that they don't have Dwight Freeney this year. Obviously, that's huge pass rusher. So, over the course of his career. Obviously, the Falcons will be looking to attack Chaz Green. Tyron Smith cannot go in this game, as well as teams like to attack Lyle Collins. So look for Vic Beasley Vic Beasley will be moving around the formation on the defensive side of the ball. Grady Jarrett on the inside has played really great football this year. And just look for that Atlanta pass rush to try to come through and get some pressure on Dak. Dak does have a tendency to hold the ball a little bit longer than he should. Waiting for a guy to get open instead of using his legs to pick up yardage to stay ahead of the chains. So look for the Falcons to drop some exotic blitz packages, move Vic Beasley all over the formation, all over the field, and for them to create pressure off of the edges with both Cowboys offensive tackles. Now our second key matchup is going to be the Atlanta run defense, if Zeke can go, versus Ezekiel Elliott. Now, last week, I believe the Panthers almost ran for 200 total yards as a team. That's a huge letdown, especially on the defensive side of the ball when you give up almost 200 yards of rushing in a game. So, Ezekiel Elliott over the last 3 or 4 games has really found his footing. I believe he's had over 100 yards in all but 2 games. The game against, game against the Chiefs, he had only 93, but he was able to do a lot of things, getting the tough yardage. This is something that Atlanta is going to have to contain. The Cowboys have shown the ability to run the ball really well recently against some really tough defenses. So it's going to be up to the Atlanta rush defense to wrap up. Can't let Zeke get free, and you have to make the tackles behind the line of scrimmage that the Chiefs were unable to do in that game, because Zeke was still able to squeak ahead for 3 or 4 yards, when he was met at the line of scrimmage. So that's something that they're going to have to be looking at. And our third and final key matchup is going to be the Dallas Cowboys defense versus that Atlanta offense, just in general, because um, Atlanta has had its offensive struggles on the year, unable to get their playmakers the ball. Julio Jones hasn't really been fed a lot. Sarkisian is not using Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman as well as Kyle Shanahan used those guys last year. This Cowboys defense with Sean Lee, I know Sean Lee is expected to play, and he should play. I believe he hasn't missed the last 2 or 3 games. I expect him to play and be fully available, obviously. So, that Cowboys defense with Sean Lee only allows about 16 points per game, a little less than 320 yards. Without him, they give up 35 points a game and over or close to 400 yards. So, Sean Lee knows what a lot of teams are running before they run it, and it helps to have a player like that. His football IQ is off the charts. So Matt Ryan versus Sean Lee is a side matchup to look out for here. Mixing it, matching up with each other in terms of getting their defense lined up in the right play call, things like that. But this Atlanta offense really needs to come through in a big way for this team. It's gonna be a really interesting matchup because they haven't been able to put up the points that they put up last year. Now jumping to our 3 reasons why each team will win this game. Let's go ahead and start with the Falcons. For the Falcons, it's gonna revolve around getting Julio Jones the ball here. The Dallas doesn't have a lockdown number 1 corner, but they had a great game plan for defending Tyreek Hill, who got loose on one real fluky play at the end of the half there. But he got loose and he scored. They really bottled up Kansas City's passing game. They bottled up Kareem Hunt. Dallas did. So it's going to be up to Steve Sarkisian to draw up some actual, an actual game plan that gets Tevin Coleman the ball, Devontae Freeman the ball, and Julio Jones fed. This offense is too powerful to not put up at least 30 points a game. Number 2, the Atlanta defense is able to contain Zeke. Obviously, this means if Zeke is able to play, the Atlanta defense is able to contain Zeke, keeping him below 100. The Cowboys are not going to give up on the run. They will run the ball 35 times a game. Over the last 4 weeks, they lead the NFL in time of possession. So, for Atlanta, it's going to be about getting off the field on 3rd down, forcing a turnover here or there, flipping field position, getting off the field, things like that. And our 3rd and final reason why Atlanta will win this game is because of Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan has to show out. He has to throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in this game, I believe, to be able to keep up with a high-powered Dallas Cowboys offense. He's going to have to get his team in the right position. And if it does come down to the one possession, he's going to have to, take his team down the field, unlike he was able to do on Sunday against the Panthers, where they had a chance to either tie the game or win the game. And he was able to do that. Now, 3 reasons why for the Cowboys. Obviously, this is if Zeke plays. So Zeke is able to play. I expect him to have over 120 yards. He's done it the last couple weeks, almost the last month. Over 120 yards, a touchdown, 2 touchdowns. Get involved a little bit in the passing game. Dallas's offensive line has been opening up some huge holes for Zeke to run, so it helps to have that offensive line. Number 2, this Dallas defense continues its string of great play. Getting pressure on Matt Ryan with DeMarcus Lawrence and David Irving. Sean Lee continues to get his guys lined up, and this secondary keeps Julio Jones bottled up, makes him earn every reception, and they play tough pass defense here. Byron Jones is a chess piece for the Cowboys, so I expect him to line up all over the field, be used in blitzes as well. And our 3rd reason why the Cowboys win is that Dak Prescott continues his excellent play of using both his arm and his feet to pick up yardage and extend drives. I expect him to continue having great success against teams. He's played really well all season. Not talked about as much as other quarterbacks whose teams' records are a lot better. But I expect him to continuously throw for 240 yards, 2 touchdowns, be very efficient and effective with the ball. Now, my prediction for this game, I'm going to have 2 predictions for this game because of the Zeke ruling. So if Zeke is able to play, I think the Cowboys will win this game. I think that they'll win this game 31-21. I just think just too much Zeke. Cowboys using that play action effectively like they have all year with Dak. Obviously, if Dez is able to play with a sprained ankle, I believe the swelling probably will go down by the end of the week. That's going to be a huge boost. It'll be Desmond Trufant lined up on Dez for probably most of the afternoon. And that's a huge matchup out there, too, that we didn't get to talk about. But if Zeke is unable to play, I think Atlanta would be able to pull this out. I don't think they'd win huge. I think it'd be more like 24-20. Just the loss of Zeke is too much. Cowboys can't get their running game going without him. They have to use 3 different running backs. And Matt Ryan is able to capitalize on a couple of short drive that Dallas is unable to extend because they aren't able to stay ahead of down in distance. So that's a 2 prediction thing for this game. All depends on Ezekiel Elliott. That's how much he means to this Cowboys offense. That's going to do it for this game. I'm going to go ahead and review some notes that I have taken for the next game. Thank you for watching, and I am out. Peace.